Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good day everyone. Alright, so in this learning video, okay, we're going to discuss the first chapter, chapter 1, which is the overview of the accounting information system. Alright, so I will divide the videos into three based on the learning objective, because in this chapter we have three learning objective. Okay, so we have three learning objectives. So the first learning objective is to distinguish between data and information, discuss the characteristic of useful information, and explain how to determine and value the information. And then the second learning objective is to explain the decision and organization makes and the information needed to make them, and the major business process present in most companies. And then the last learning objective is to explain how an AIS add value to the organization, how it affects and is affected by the corporate strategy, and its role in the value chain. Okay, so in this learning video, I will explain first the learning objective number 1. Okay, so basically in this learning objective 1, we're going to discuss the important terms in the context of the information organization. Alright, so first of all, since we talk about accounting information system, so you also need to understand what is that system. Okay, so by definition, okay, the system is the set of two or more interrelated components that interact to achieve a goal. And then if you look at the figure in my slide, okay, the larger circle is the system, okay, and then most of the system always composed of the smaller subsystem. So you can see the smaller circle in system, in the circle, the larger circle is the subsystem. Okay, so this subsystem will be designed to achieve one or more organizational goals. Okay, and then if they have changes in the subsystem, cannot be made without considering the effect on the other subsystem. Okay, and also effect to the system as a whole. Alright, so if you can make example, our UITM as a whole. So UITM as a whole is one system, one big system. Okay, and then under UITM we have a smaller system, subsystem, for example faculties. Okay, we have different faculties, different officers. Alright, so those are the subsystem, and then each of the subsystem, they have their own goals. Okay, but if they have changes of the goals, for example our faculty, we have our own goals. Okay, if we want to make changes to our goal, our faculty's goals, so we have to make sure the goals will not affected the goals of the system as a whole. Okay, so in this the terms, okay, that normally used to picture the conflict and congruence of goal, okay, they have two terms used here. The first one, goal conflict. Okay, this is occur when the subsystem goals are inconsistent with the goals of another subsystem or with the system as a whole. Okay, so for example our faculty just now, if our goals is not consistent, okay, with the goal of the system as a whole, or with the other subsystem, we call it as the goal conflict. Okay, and then goal congruence, vice versa, where the goal congruence occurs when the subsystem achieve their goal while contributing to the organization's overall goal. Alright, so those are the terms that being used in the information organization. Alright, okay, and then the next thing that you need to understand, that related to the accounting information system. This is also important. The difference between data and information. Okay, so this is another thing. So if you can look at in this slide, okay, show the difference between data and also the information. So the data, okay, actually just the facts, okay, facts that are collected, recorded, stored in the system. Alright, if you look at the example here, um, data could be the number, okay, the date, the name of the business. Okay, you can see the example, um, 2/22/14. It could be a date. Okay, ABC company, okay, is the name of the business. Okay, and then the others numbers, okay, others numbers. So actually we do not know the meaning of those numbers, okay, because this is just the facts. Okay, and then if you look at the information, okay, the information is the data that have been organized and processed to provide meaning and improve the decision making process. If you look at this example, so you can see the data had been organized and in place in the context of the sales invoice. So from here, the data is more meaningful, whereby you can differentiate between the numbers. Okay, they have invoice date, okay, and then the number 123 just now is actually the invoice number, okay, and then ABC company actually is the customer's name. Okay, and then others number also have the meaning, the maybe the item number, the quantity, the price, and so on. So compared to the previous data just now, okay, so the data is organized within the context of the sales invoice here now is meaningful and considered information. So with this meaningful information, the management, the users can make decisions. Okay, so that's the objective. Okay, why we having the information. So that's the difference between data and the information. Okay, and then okay, so we look at here. You can refer table 1.1, page 30. So in this table, they list down all the characteristics of useful information. So what makes information useful? Okay, so they list down 14 general characteristics that make information useful. So actually this one you can go through on your own. Okay, I just pick one or two. For example, the information is useful when it is accurate. Okay, whereby the accurate meaning here, the data or information is correct, okay, free of error, okay, and also accurately represent event and activities. Okay, and then others characteristic, consistent, okay, whereby the information presented in the same format of over the time. Okay, and then the others, more on the characteristic is timely, okay, whereby the information needs to be provided in the time to make the decision. So if they fulfill, okay, this characteristic, we can say that information is useful. Okay, um, so okay, and then you look at on the next slide. Okay, all right, the information actually can help us or the management to make better decisions, as we look at the example between data information just now. Okay, when the data had been organized, stored, okay, analyzed, okay, so it can use the information to make a better decision. But too much information also can causing information overload, and it can reduce decision quality. Okay, so this is where the information, okay, normally information system designer, they use the information technology to help decision makers make more effectively filter and condense the information. So for example, we have now the technology on the data analytics, okay, we have also the emerging on technology of artificial intelligence. Okay, so those advancement on technology can make more effectively filter the information and condense the information. Okay, and then another things that also in the textbook they mention about data is most useful when it is in a machine readable format. Okay, so this is the current technology, that data presented in the machine readable format. So in this machine readable format, the data can be read and processed by the computer, that involve data collection, recording, storage, updating, and also data dissemination. So actually when they use this machine readable format, uh, the format, it can be read by the computer language. So the programming language being designed to read all those data. Okay, one of the example is SBRL. Okay, whereby this is where the financial statements of the public companies, they are using SBRL. Extensible business reporting language. Okay, so when they are using the SBRL, they are using programming language specifically to facilitate communication of financial and other business information. So the information given in this kind of format are more useful and help the decision makers to make a better decisions. Okay. Okay, then the next thing in this learning outcome one is how to value the information. So value information is the we say that information is valuable when the benefits exceed the cost. Okay, so the benefits and the cost actually is related to the activities on gathering, maintaining, and storing the data. So when the benefits exceed the cost, it can say as that information are valuable. Okay, so benefits, it can be it's not necessary in monetary term. Okay, it can be non-monetary. For example, can improve the decision making. Okay, it's also considered as a benefit of having that information. Can reduce uncertainty, can improve ability to plan, to schedule the activities. So those are the example of having the benefit. And the cost is related to the time and resources spent to produce and distribute the information. So the time spent, the resources spent to produce, to distribute the information, we consider it as a cost. So if the benefit is exceed or more than the cost, we say that as we as the information is valuable. Okay, but normally the benefits or the cost is quite difficult to quantify. Okay, and also difficult to determine the value of the information. So now, nevertheless, the expected value, the information should be calculated. Okay, so that they know the investment that they make. Okay, to process data to the information, okay, is worth, okay, to produce the information. All right, and then you also can refer to page 31. Okay, they give here the good example related to 7-Eleven stores in Japan. So actually in this situation, they compare between the 7-Eleven operate in Japan and Southland Corporation in US. Okay, so actually in the case here, they mentioned that 7-Eleven store in Japan, they uh, invested heavily in IT. Okay, for example, they have a computer or system that can keep track the 3,000 items sold in each store. Okay, and then the system also can determine what products are moving and what time of day, under what weather conditions. Okay, so those are system that they use, and then also they can keep track what and when customer buy to make sure it has in stock. Okay, the products most frequently purchased and so on. So you can read through all the example. They use the advancement of information technology in their store. Okay, and then the output from here, the outcome is that they got average daily sales 30% higher, and its operating margins almost double those of its closest competitor. So, and what happened to the Southland in US? Okay, since they do not implement those advancement technology, um, profit decline. Okay, in the Southland, and Southland eventually had to file for bankruptcy. So that's the example where they make use the advancements of technology, and then they use those information, valuable information, to make them a better decision. Okay, to make them better decision for their business. Okay, so that's the example use the 7-Eleven. Alright, and then if you refer to our case that I want you to read earlier, SNS. Okay, SNS integrative case. So in this SNS case, the company also try to understand the business process, and also want to know what are those information that they are need for the business process. Okay, so this one we're going to discuss it in the next learning outcome number 2, which is information needs and business process. Okay, so with that slide I end this okay, and this video. Okay, then we proceed to the next video to discuss on the learning objective number 2. Alright, I see you in the next video.